Coming up on Sports Night, Northwestern gets the win at Nebraska on Saturday, what it means for the Cats' postseason hopes.
Chicago Cubs fans are some of the most loyal in the world. Find out how one man has dedicated his life to the team.
And construction at Lakeside Field relocated varsity soccer this fall. Find out who else is the project affecting. What are you gonna do with all that, Noah?
I don't know. Do you have something I can put it in? Or...
Well, looks like you're eligible for one of these. It's Sports Night.
Right now.
Welcome on in. I'm Brandon Wilson.
And I'm Noah Fromson. I brought corn to set. And it probably came from here, Lincoln, Nebraska, back for the first time since the heartbreaking Hail Mary, coming off 2 tough losses and trying to bounce back. First quarter, Clayton Thorson showed off his mobility in week 1, and he doesn't want anyone to forget it. Breaks a 68-yard run down the sideline, takes it all the way to the 2. Quarterback sneak a couple plays later, makes it 7-3 Northwestern. 5:19 left in the first. Thorson, too much time in the pocket. The safety brings Nebraska within 2. Huskers deep in NU territory. Who's your daddy, Tommy Armstrong? Nick Van Who's your daddy? 72-yard pick 6. He's barely touched on the return. A 14-5 advantage for Northwestern after the interception. But Nebraska doesn't lay down, especially not in front of Big Red Nation. Tommy Armstrong hits Brandon Riley with a 10-yard touchdown pass, cutting the lead to 2. Jack Mitchell added a field goal before the half. 9 minutes left in the third quarter. Armstrong doing what he does best. 4-yard touchdown on the ground. Huskers back on top, 19-17. Fourth quarter, Nebraska up 22-20. Thorson to Vitale, possibly his best pass of his career. 37-yard touchdown. Cats up 5. 4 minutes and change to go. Score now 30-22. Nebraska in the red zone. Tommy Armstrong, more like Tommy Legstrong, am I right, people? Touchdown. Huskers down 2. You know what's coming. Conversion attempt. Armstrong drops back. His pass to Christian Jones falls incomplete. Cats regain possession. They never give it up. Northwestern back to its winning ways with a 30-28 victory. Our Alex Letterman has more from Lincoln.
Northwestern is officially bowl eligible. Yes, those are words Wildcat fans can say for the first time since 2012. It wasn't always pretty today against Nebraska, but thanks to a few key plays combined with an impressive fourth quarter, the Wildcats finally reached win number 6.
There's a lot of guys in the locker room that, me and a couple of the seniors were talking like they have never experienced going to a bowl game. So it's great to hit that mark.
A huge team win to get us over the hump. To get to 6 and get into the postseason. But that's, like we just talked about in the locker room, 6 is not the destination. We didn't talk about it in camp about let's get to 6 wins.
When things broke down, I just ran it, and obviously it was a good outcome.
He's a freshman quarterback with 8 games under his belt, and he's got 6 wins. I'd give him an A.
I think today we were able to push through because of what we went through these past 2 games, and I think it turned out well.
We're back to where we want to be. Now, unfortunately, we've given away control of the West, but what we can control is how we prepare and how we play, and that's what we talked about this week.
The Wildcats are off next week before returning in 2 weeks to take on Penn State at Ryan Field. But with win number 6 now, a huge burden has been lifted off the Cats' shoulders. For NNN Sports, I'm Alex Letterman.
Bowl eligible, such an exciting game. Big play after big play, lead change after lead change. I'd say that warrants a closer look. Inside NU's Josh Rosenblatt agrees, and he's here to break it all down for us. Josh, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, let's dig right in. One thing that jumped out to me on the stat sheet, almost double time of possession for Nebraska, 39-21. That's the lowest mark for the Cats on the season. What do you make of that? Isn't that the kind of game control that you dream of if you're Nebraska? So how did the Cats go on to gash them for so many big plays?
Yeah, I mean, Nebraska really ran their game plan pretty well. If you're Northwestern, uncharacteristically, Wildcats were able to get some big plays. A couple of them came on the ground with Clayton Thorson's legs, a couple through the air, one to Justin Jackson towards the very end of the game, and one to Dan Vitale on a 37-yard touchdown. Those plays really separated the game from Northwestern's offense, and defensively, Northwestern was given a gift on Tommy Armstrong's pick 6 to Nick Van Hoos. I mean, that was a really poor decision by Armstrong, an easy play for Van Hoos to execute, taking it back to the house.
Well, Josh, as you know, it's midterm season here on campus, and many of us are getting graded, evaluated for our performance. Now I want to put us on the other side of that. Wildcat midseason report card. Give me your A player, B player, a player who's right there on the C average, who needs to step it up a little bit and can still make an impact, and then I want to hear who your disappointing player is so far on the season.
Yeah, I mean, before I begin with these, I just want to say I'm grading these people on these players on kind of a scale of expectation. So, for example, guys like Anthony Walker and Godwin Ngabike, I'd really put in the A category. Those are two sophomores that we knew coming into the season could be really, really, really solid players for Northwestern, and they've really done that. I mean, they've been awesome so far. In the B range, I'd go with Thorson, and again, this is a contextual grade. He hasn't been awesome overall, especially in the passing game, but in the running game, especially last weekend against Stanford, he basically won the game in both those situations. C, surprisingly, I'd go with Justin Jackson. Over the past 3 weeks especially, he's not rushed for over 40 yards. He's really been struggling, and a lot of that does have to do with the offensive line. They've struggled a little bit. But Jackson, I'd really put in that C range. Then really surprising, actually, is in the D range, I have wide receiver Christian Jones. He started the season off pretty well. He was the main receiver for Clayton Thorson, especially on third downs. But in the past few games, he's been dropping a lot of balls as a veteran wide receiver, guy that's supposed to lead this offense in the passing game. That's really disappointing to see from him.
Yeah, C for Justin Jackson, such a focal point of this offense, so that'll be interesting moving forward. And finally, here's an interesting one. Northwestern hasn't won coming off of a bye week since 2003. That's LeBron James' rookie season and my third grade campaign. Give me some specific things you think the Cats need to hone to make sure that when Penn State comes to visit next week, that streak ends.
So I think the defense, while not perfect against Nebraska, was pretty good. I don't think that was the big problem, but I think the big thing for Northwestern has to be getting the offense on track. The passing game is going to be super important. I think one way to do that is you focus on the play-action passing game. That kind of is a microcosm of both things that went wrong for Northwestern over the past few weeks, especially against Nebraska. You have guys such as Jackson, who are really big play weapons, and Solomon Vault too, that haven't been able to kind of capitalize on their skill ability because the passing game hasn't really been too effective. If Northwestern's able to get the offensive line moving down the field, and if they're able to get Justin Jackson some solid gains, that passing game is going to be really important for them going forward against Penn State.
Well, there you have it, folks. Josh, pleasure as always. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks.
Coming up, think you know what it takes to be a real Superfan? We sit down with Chicago Cubs diehard after the break.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
Why hang around waiting for opportunity to knock when instead you can track opportunity down and knock on its door? You might ask, what's the best way to identify where opportunity lives? Here's a hint. Its door is colored purple. Northwestern University. Opportunity awaits your knock.
Why spend your entire life looking for some on-ramp to the road to opportunity when there's already a well-traveled path? So you may be wondering, what does that path look like? Is it paved with gold? Well, here's a hint. It's actually paved with purple. Northwestern University. Your road starts here.
Welcome back to Sports Night. The Chicago Cubs rocked the baseball world this year by finishing with the third best record in the majors and knocking off arch rival St. Louis Cardinals in the NLDS before the heartbreaking sweep by the New York Mets.
Yeah, Noah, really a great season for the boys in blue. The atmosphere in Wrigleyville was electric. You can really sense the passion of that fan base.
That's right, and Brandon, one lifelong fan has waited 3/4 of a century to see his beloved Cubbies win. Our own Jacob Murphy has more.
It's always a thrill when I walk in and I come up and see the field. I get a little rush. Saw my first Cubs game. My aunt and uncle came from Brooklyn. They were Dodger fans, and they took me to see my first game. I was 6.
That was 1945. The Cubs went to the World Series that year. They fell to Detroit in 7 games, but for Jerry Yanoff, the future looked bright. 70 years later, Yanoff watched his Cubs try to make it back into the Fall Classic for the first time since '45, enjoying the chance with friends and neighbors at the Levy Center in Evanston.
It's really fun because, you start getting a crowd together and you start building that feeling, of being together with other people.
Center Program Director Rob Russo says the city manager asked Levy to host a viewing for the community.
Quieter atmosphere, so they actually get to hear the game. Enough people that are excited and are really watching the game, really into what's going on.
Yanoff remained positive despite the 8-3 loss in Game 4, ending the Cubs' exciting season. For Yanoff, winning is just a bonus when you root for the Cubs.
Cubs win, Cubs lose. If they win, it's better because you can sing that "Go Cubs Go" at the end. That's always fun. If they lose, it's like your kid losing his little league. You still love them.
Growing up outside Wrigley, Yanoff remembers a time when it was easy to talk with players at their hotel, easy to have them remember your name, and easy to sneak your way in.
They said, "You want to come in and see the game?" And we said, "Sure." So they just put their arms around our shoulders and walked us past the gate. So this is my nephew.
Happy with the team's season, Yanoff seems content with his life of Cubs fandom.
You know what? Anyone can have a bad century. What can you say?
Jacob Murphy, NNN Sports.
And as always, he hopes they can break the curse next year.
Athletic administration made headlines this week announcing the abrupt dismissal of former head wrestling coach Drew Periano. The university has not yet cited a reason for the move, but Periano had the following to say about the firing. Quote, "I have nothing but great things to say about Northwestern University, and I have a plethora of fond memories. We had an outstanding 10-year run where I was honored to be the head coach, and we have had some amazing people help us achieve our goals along the way. I am looking forward to beginning the next chapter of my coaching and administrative career." Someone's got to replace him, and the Cats have chosen Matt Storniolo, who has spent 6 seasons with the Cats as an assistant coach. The 2-time All-American was awarded Big Ten Freshman of the Year at Penn State before transferring to finish his career at Oklahoma. As you can see by his tweet here, the coach is pumped. He says it's time to go to work. Storniolo will have to adjust to his new role quickly as the Wildcats open the season on Sunday in Atlanta at the NWCA All-Star Classic.
Northwestern volleyball knocked off defending champion Penn State 2 weeks ago, and it was legendary. We won't forget it. But excluding that win, the Cats are just 1-3 in October, playing with very little consistency. They look to gain some momentum in Friday's matchup with 19th-ranked Purdue. A sold-out crowd in Lafayette for Dig Pink Night, supporting breast cancer awareness. A nice touch with the pink lines on the court. First set, Northwestern in an 18-11 hole. Sophia Lavin fires 2 bullets, and she's denied at the net both times, but Gabrielle Hazen taps it over for the kill. Purdue wins the first set. Second set, Northwestern down. Somehow the Boilermakers save Simone Abbott's kill attempt in the air, but no matter. Karks, Tashima, Hazen, Yahtzee. Point Northwestern, but Purdue fights back. They have set point on the Wildcats, and Sam Epineza gets one by Maureen and Slater to take set 2. Fast forward to late in third, match point for Purdue. Hazen and Lavin doing all they can, but Faye Adelaja, they should start calling her Faye the Gray because she says, "You shall not pass this net." Pass over this net? I'll work on that later. Boilermakers down the Cats in straight sets. Northwestern drops to 12-8 overall, 4-5 in the Big Ten. Taylor Tashima, effective as always. She had 21 dimes. Not mentioned here, Gabrielle Hazen. She anchored the Wildcat offense, hitting at a .538 clip and adding 8 kills. For the Boilermakers, senior Annie Drews led the team with 11 kills, fed early and often by Ashley Evans, 38 assists for the redshirt sophomore. The Boilermakers pick up their 16th victory and are 7-2 in conference play.
Yeah, things didn't get any better for the Cats on Saturday night in Bloomington. First set started off back and forth, but Indiana came away with it as well as the second. A third set Wildcat rally did steal some momentum back, but they fell short 4 points. Maddie Slater blocked 3 Hoosier attacks to assert her dominance at the net. And a milestone for Kark's Neatisball, 1,628 career digs. That's 30 shy of second on the all-time list.
In a home victory over Michigan State on October 18th, Northwestern field hockey netted 3 goals after outshooting the scoreless Spartans 25-1. Well, they took that firepower, put it in their pocket, and saved it for Friday's trip to Columbus, outshooting the Buckeyes 29-2. That's a 54-3 shooting margin in the last 2 games. Isabel Flens buried 1 in the 25th minute, and Pascal Massey matched her 30 minutes later to seal the 2-0 victory.
Cats hosted Ohio on Sunday, down 2-0 here when the Cats put up 1 on goal, but Lena Trucco there to do work. Ohio up 2-0, not for long though. That's Dominique Masters putting it into the net, cutting the lead in half with her 11th goal on the season. But she's not done there, folks. Look at her crow hop into this one. Boom! Puts it in the back of the net with no goalie. That's her 12th score on the season, assisted by Puck Pentanga. Speaking of Pentanga, she would continue to distribute. Here's one for you, Lisa McCarthy. She gets her 3rd goal on the season, puts the Cats up 3-2 for the Dagger. Northwestern would go on to score 1 more to seal the deal at 4-2. Pentanga wants the exclamation point, but Lena Trucco will save it. Cats win it by a final score of 4-2. It was a close one. The Cats rallied back after being down 2-0 early, showing some resilience, and Masters with 3 goals on the game, having a great season so far. McCarthy also with a complimentary goal and an assist.
5 Northwestern golfers traveled to Greensboro, North Carolina Sunday for the Bridgestone Invitational. The 54-hole competition featured 14 teams, and 10 of those 14 were ranked in the GolfStat Top 100. And last year's team leader in scoring average, Dylan Wu, tees off. Tough weekend for the sophomore. He pars the hole, but finished 41st at a +7 mark. Senior Andrew Whalen, chipper chip, sets up a par, team best -3, and he placed 8th. And freshman Peter Griffith lays up, be the ball, Danny, be the ball, no, just misses the putt, +6 total on his scorecards. As a whole, Northwestern shot 4 under par and took home 3rd place.
Coming up, find out how construction on campus has disrupted more than just varsity sports.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Go Northwestern, break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all the go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
We're back here on Sports Night, and so is Wildcat basketball, almost. Expectations are high, fans are excited, and players are zoned in. Here's what they had to say on the upcoming 2016 campaign.
I think we are ready to take that next step. You know, it was just about, we got thrown in the fire, obviously. There's just so much we learned from last year that, we took into this offseason.
All the close games we had last year, people said that was youth or, whatever it was. We have to do a better job of finishing those games and really take the next step for this program to be good.
Every team has aspirations to do things in March. I don't think we're any different. If you don't have those aspirations, then you shouldn't be coaching or playing.
The Cats open the season with an exhibition match next Thursday against Quincy at Welsh Ryan Arena.
The men's soccer team is not making many national headlines with its sub-500 record, but in the Big Ten standings, the Cats rank 4th behind only Ohio State, Maryland, and Rutgers. They continued conference play against Michigan State Saturday afternoon. No Lakeside Field for Senior Day, and we have more on that later, so they settled for Toyota Park. It was the keeper, Zach Allen, who showed up big for Northwestern. 7 saves and a clean sheet on his resume. Easily stops a meatball from Andrew Herr. Jason Stacy fires one. Full extension save a la Mr. Fantastic and Elastigirl. No slips from the senior. The offense, however, full of miscues. 2 headers, missed opportunities for Nathan Darth, and the only goal of the game comes in the 88th minute. Camden Bisher launches a free kick into the box, and Mike Robert sends it home with his noggin. Cats improve to 6-7-2 on the year.
The Cats would go to Loyola and they would drop another one, falling to 6-7-2 on the season. It wasn't a pretty one for the Wildcats when they traveled down Sheridan Road. Busher would put up 2 shots. Cole Massimo put 1 shot on goal, but that would not be enough, and the Wildcats drop it 2-0.
Keeping it on the football pitch, women's soccer was in action for the first time since the 4-0 victory over Iowa on October 18th. The team met up with the Fighting Illini in Champaign Saturday. 2-0 the final in favor of Northwestern. Addie Steiner cashed in early in the 26th minute, and Nikki Sebo sealed the deal with another in minute 72. The Cats improved to 12-4-2 overall and 6-3-1 in the Big Ten.
The Cats went north on Wednesday to pay a visit to the Badgers. 73 minutes without a goal in this one, but that changes here. Check out Rose Lavelle. Boom! Bottom left, doing it all herself. Olay. Badgers lead at 1-0, and in a game like this, you might think that's good for the win. Check this out. Cats clear it. Badgers will try to get it under control, but whoops! Wrong way. That's Addie Steiner. Takes it in stride. Last-ditch effort by the keeper, no good, and with touch, Steiner puts it in, sending it to overtime. Check this out. Jarentowski between the legs gets it to Michelle Manning. Great control in a tight space. Out to Sharples. Sharples will cross it into Steiner. Steiner to Gorman. Goal! And the Cats win it in overtime, 2-1, clinching the 4th seed in the Big Ten tournament. What a thriller in Madison. It was a thriller that showed 73 minutes of no scoring, but that would turn when Rose Lavelle puts it in. The Cats were determined, though. With only 15 minutes left in the game, they come back, tie it, and in overtime, it's Cassidy Gorman with the winner, and the Cats will host a home opener next week. 22 career shutouts for Lauren Clem. Congratulations. She has our stat of the week. She recorded 2 consecutive shutouts this week, and she will go and lead the team against Michigan in the first round of the Big Ten championships next week. With that big overtime win, Northwestern women's soccer will host its opening match of the Big Ten tournament, not at Lakeside Field, not at Toyota Park, but at New Trier High School. Catch the Cats in action against the Michigan Wolverines this Sunday at noon.
And speaking of relocation, if you follow Northwestern soccer, you know there haven't been any varsity games on campus this fall. However, you may not realize how many student activities have actually been displaced. Jesse Kirsch joins us live from Lakeside. Jesse, who else is affected by the construction?
Good evening, Noah. Well, you know, just about anybody who comes out on the Lakefield is going to find themselves stopped right here. We're at the southern end of the the Lakeside Field campus, and you can't go any farther because just beyond that fence is a bunch of construction equipment redoing the facilities here on the Lakefield. We know that the varsity soccer teams, as you mentioned, have had to play elsewhere in the Chicagoland area this fall, but you may not realize that there are other student athletes who have had to shake things up on the weekends.
At Northwestern, Sunday is game day, and I'm not talking about the NFL.
It's great people we're playing against. They're always good sports about it, and they're all out here just to have fun.
Intramural flag football is popular at Northwestern, with dozens of teams playing each weekend. So popular, in fact, that there's a waiting list.
The lines were ridiculous for sign-up. There are people in sleeping bags. That's never a good sign.
But that wasn't the only bad news this year.
Lakeside Field is usually home to a bunch of varsity sports such as men's and women's soccer and women's lacrosse. It's also where a lot of intramural sports get played, such as flag football. Yet for the time being, all of these opportunities have disappeared.
That's because of construction to expand the Lakeville Sports Complex. As a result, the man in charge of IM's, Ryan Coleman, has had to adjust the league.
We could always take 80, 85, 90 teams in the past because we had the turf fields. We also use long field. This year we can only use long field and take 70 teams.
The Lakeside Project, which started last June, doesn't just impact how many people can play, it impacts when they can play.
We used to in the past run games on the turf field at night. Obviously we had lights out there, so we would run Monday nights as well, and we would always pick up extra nights come playoffs.
The university expects to complete the Lakeside Project in December, and some younger students don't mind the wait.
I'm willing to take this short-term sacrifice if it means like long-term Northwestern is even more awesome than it is now.
That way, even more people can enjoy the game.
No, just a little bit more bad news for IM football. I confirmed with Ryan Coleman, the associate director, yesterday that all 5 p.m. games will be played at 10 a.m. this Sunday morning because of the daylight savings time change through Saturday night into Sunday morning. And even with that extra hour of sleep early Sunday, don't forget it's Halloween on Saturday night. So I have a feeling there are going to be just a few more dropped passes on Sunday morning. Noah?
Sounds brutal, Jesse. Thank you for the report. Sadly, my touchdown catch from Sunday's IM game won't make our Plays of the Week.
He didn't catch a touchdown. Plays of the Week are coming up next, though, after the break. Stay tuned.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
Welcome back to Sports Night. Thanks for sticking with us. We've got Plays of the Week.
Roll it. At number 3, let's start on the pitch, Noah. Now we go to Toyota Park, Northwestern. Here's a free kick. Camden Bisher with the service into Brobert's golazo. Cats win 1-0.
And now play number 2, play dos. Nebraska and Northwestern, second quarter. Tommy Armstrong, feeling the pressure in the pocket, rolls out to the right, lets it fly, and it's picked off by Nick Van Hoos, who brings it all the way back, 72-yard touchdown. Van Hoos to the house, and a sad ballad for Nebraska fans. Love hurts.
Clayton Thorson, you heard Coach Fitz earlier give him an A for the season. Well, this is part of why. He's going to break it here, sees that all of his guys are covered, runs it down. Look at the speed. He's finally pushed out just short of the touchdown at the 2-yard line. Of course, the Cats would go on to win 30-28. That's our show, folks. A great week in Northwestern sports. The Wildcat football team is eligible for a bowl game for the first time since 2012. Thank you for joining us. I'm Brandon Wilson.
And I'm Noah Fromson. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Have a happy Halloween and a good evening.